right, welcome to Gen X Rated, Saturday edition. How we doing, guys?
Good. It's Saturday. Just got back from the gym with Cole. We ran into our buddy Dave there. So, yeah.
Dave, the giant guy who's not a Republican?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
Yeah, good guy.
Good for you guys. How about you, Jane? It looks a little gray in your area.
Yeah, it was a 40-degree swing in temperature overnight, so it's cold and dreary here.
It's insane.
But I'm suited up. I've got your daughter's handmade hat on my head. It's keeping me very warm. I'm good,
Nice.
but it's to the left of me. If I reach my hand out, it's drizzly and rainy. But I'm under a deck, so I'm good. But I'm good, man. It's Saturday. Just chilling. And just got together with the family last night. Drank about 17 7-ounce Modelo's. I have no idea why my brother brought little baby Modelo's over, but man, you can drink those really, really fast. And then I smashed a glass about midnight and spent a half an hour sweeping up glass and making sure no one, one of those nights. And then I went to bed, and then I woke up and I walked the dog before the rain started. And then I prepped a little bit for this podcast by doing absolutely nothing and looking at Rob's notes because he had a lot of them, so I don't have to do shit. So which is good. So
Yeah.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. It's just one of those days, he's just pulling on. Oh, my brother just walked in. I guess he's gonna eat the leftover breakfast I left him.
Oh, nice.
What'd
He'll
you
be
I'm
do?
just surprised that you
Hug.
are dressed for the weather. It was 80 degrees, yet you still brought a jacket, a hat, a flannel.
I am in Omaha so much I have clothes here.
Oh, okay. Well, that
I
makes sense.
literally pack an overnight bag in case I decide not to drive the whole way, and I have shoes here, clothes here, rain gear here. This is like what I drove here with, and I just did the laundry today and then put it back on to drive away with it tomorrow. So, yeah, I don't. It's cool that she gave me a room. She gave me her dad's old dresser, so I've got my grandpa's wallet in there. It says Bill's wallet on it, handmade, and
Oh, nice.
but the bed's kind of not my bed. You know how weird it is to not sleep in your own bed. It's
sure.
just I'm used to
Yeah.
sleeping in this bed, but I'm still not used to it because it's not my bed. So, and speaking of beds, my kid Max he does frisbee golf tournaments. He's traveling right now. He said he's in last place in his flight because he hasn't practiced in a while. But he's having a good time. But he realized last night, staying in the hotel, they slept on a king size mattress. So they realized they've been sleeping on like a full or a queen size this whole time. And now he realized he wanted a king size mattress. When we offered to buy him bar stools for the new place, now they switched that to a mattress. So I just cashed apped him some money for a new mattress, and then gave him some recommendations. You guys have any recommendations for good mattresses? I have a Sattva mattress. I've heard good things about Purple, and another one called Tuft and Needle. My mom has a Tuft and Needle. What kind of
I'm not familiar
mattresses
with
do you
that.
guys have?
I really don't even know, but it
Old school?
was expensive. The latex ones used to be big a few years ago.
Right.
Our stepdad used to sell mattresses, and we kind of got the inside there. I don't know if that's still a trend,
I don't know.
but
Yeah,
it
I
does make a
just,
giant difference, that's for sure. But you are paying for it.
I do like my current mattress, but we do have to rotate it every I would say 6 weeks because I put a giant indentation in it, and that's not even supposed to happen. They're supposed to bounce back, but when you're as big as they don't build these things for my size,
So you're supposed to flip it and then turn it, right? Turn it and
You
flip it.
can't. It's not a flippable one.
Yeah, mine's not either. I found that out.
Because I have one of those moving bed frames, like one of those
Okay.
Tempur-Pedic. So you can't flip those mattresses. You can only rotate them, which rotating works because Melissa's so small and sleeps in the fetal position. So every 6 weeks, that shit recovers, and then I'm good. But
As she's sitting in the indentation for 2 weeks.
She's tiny. She can sleep in a fucking toaster. It doesn't matter.
I sleep in a drawer.
Yeah, she can sleep in a drawer. So. But anyway, I didn't mean to get off on a rant about mattresses, but they matter.
How did you guys, those beds at the Falcon Inn were not good. How did you guys manage training camp sleeping on those things? Because I always felt crappy. Every morning I woke up with my back hurting.
Honestly, just like you, everything we did back then, we did because we were in our 20s and we could. couldn't do that shit today. I mean, I'm sure those coaches, those 50-year-old coaches, were probably miserable anytime they had to sleep with the Falcon Inn or anything, because those mattresses were awful. So
just went home at night. I think us and the players were the only ones that stayed there.
the Falcon Inn, literally, that probably the only reason I could stay in Kentucky for those 2 days at that weird ass motel is because I spent a year living in the Falcon Inn, and it prepared me for the Kentucky hotel, because there's not much difference. I mean, seriously, there was not much difference at all.
Yeah.
Terrifying. So
Dude,
you
I
okay
did
there,
2
Rob?
years at the Falcon Inn.
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Okay, you got your eyes looking up like something's collapsing in Taiwan right now or some shit. I didn't know what was going on. So
Well, USAID would have sent aid there, but they've basically been disbanded, so we won't be sending any help to our friends overseas.
Why should we help anybody?
It's not really what we do anymore.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. That's
we don't
not who
have
we are.
friends. We have people that should serve us, apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
dude,
Greenland, you're next, buddy. It's the king's
Mm.
wishes. Why would we not fall in line with the king's wishes?
That 3-hour trip that the Vances had to Greenland was a smashing success at space camp.
They never left the space camp. He
Mhm.
complained that nobody told him how cold it was there.
Is he
He's a real
serious?
genius.
Is he serious?
Yes. Well, the comment was made. Also, he wore his hat all during lunch, which is just not a thing that you do on the base. Marines don't wear their hat. Not while you eat.
He knows that. That dude was
should know
actually
that,
in the
but-
military. He just breaks all the rules, doesn't he?
He's a rule breaker.
He's a clown. These guys are all clowns.
It is. It's
And you know what the weird thing is? My mom told me today is, you know who set up the Vances, right?
Who?
Peter Thiel, right?
Teal?
No, that lady that wrote the book, the Tiger Mom, the professor at Yale or Harvard.
Oh yeah.
She made those two
Oh, set them
together.
up together. Okay.
Yeah. She was one of their professors, and she's like, "Oh, this would make a good couple," and introduced them.
Wow.
I didn't realize that. My mom has useless information too. So
I love useless information.
That's very strange.
I do. So that's really weird, because the Tiger Mom chick, I would not exactly call exemplary mother. I mean, it's pretty rough on her kids, man. Holy
Heck
shit.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's all I got about space camp.
Okay. Well,
This one time at space camp.
we're gonna move on from Greenland. So,
Robert, we're right over his head.
Dr. Peter Marks.
Who's he?
Peter Marks was the top FDA vaccine official. I think he's had the job since 2012. He's been headlining for HHS as far as vaccinations, which apparently yesterday they gave him the choice to resign or be fired. He chose to resign. His exact quote was that it became clear that truth and transparency are not desired by the secretary, which is Robert Kennedy Jr., but rather wishes subservient confirmation of his misinformation and lies. That seemed pretty rough, but it seems kind of where we are right now. This guy has been in the business for a long time. The person that they've hired at HHS was David Gear, who's somebody that links vaccinations to autism. So you can kind of see the direction we're going in. Again, HHS has fired 10,000 people. They fired another 10,000. I think overall there's 80,000 people that work in HHS. So you're looking at a quarter of the staff just spliced. So I think the end game, from what I'm hearing, this is the gentleman who he's on the right, who doesn't believe in, I just lost him, doesn't believe in vaccinations, thinks it causes autism. Here he is again, looking about the same as he did in the last photo.
Jesus.
Don't even get me started.
Are these two related, Mark and David?
Yes. So again, we're just kind of making stuff up. It's more distractions. I'm looking for Kennedy. I can't seem to find him, but I think we all know what he looks like, whether he's Red Man or well, here we go.
Testosterone.
So I think the end game is what I'm reading through all this information is that they just want to privatize healthcare for us. The belief is that it's better medicine through profits. I'm not exactly sure that that's a thing. HHS has a $1.7 trillion budget. It seems like we could cover the CDC, the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, along with the FDA, et cetera. But they want to cut that to keep tax cuts going to the rich and to keep us pretty unhealthy. I'm just going to jump to this really quickly because it does have to do with Kennedy. The measles is not going away. We're getting rid of vaccinations, but that's not going away. There's over 500 cases nationwide. If you take the MMR, which we talked about, the vaccination as a kid and a booster as adult, you're 97% effective at preventing measles. So I don't really see that there's a downside to that. Other nations are warning their citizens to check their vaccination schedules before traveling to the U.S.
Or better yet, just don't bother traveling there. I guess.
Well, the Canadians have taken that to heart. I believe 70% of tourists are down coming out of Canada. I did see a sign today that some places in Canada aren't accepting U.S. currency right now. So we're really kind of digging a hole for ourselves. Trump doesn't carry a wallet.
The wall next.
Oh, God.
And he's not going to Canada, so it doesn't really affect him. I just did want to follow up because Kennedy's the guy that's pushing the vitamin A in Texas, particularly West Texas, as being effective to keep you from getting measles. But it's not a thing. Vitamin A is not something that you pee out. It gets retained in your fat.
If you take vitamin A and a little light and a little bleach, it will cure COVID and measles and anything you can think of. What?
And it'll turn you a healthy red
liver
glow.
cod oil too.
Oh my God. This is just moronic, dude. I mean, this is moronic that we are so anti-science that we would listen to this goofball, this loon.
This heroin guy.
Well, and it's even worse because now they're storing all this vitamin A, these children, because that's who's mainly being effective, and it's causing all kinds of problems for them as well.
Oh yeah.
You can overdose on vitamin A, so it becomes an issue. It does cause nausea, vertigo, blurred vision, and liver damage.
If you've done too much vitamin A, just take a shot of heroin. It will calm you down. That's what I did in college. It went from a D student to an A student. Dude, this is like the fucking junior varsity playing a pro team. They're just so incompetent and immoral. And I was watching. Well, did you guys send me the Ezra Klein clip the other day, or did you?
Yes.
Did you guys see that?
Vice versa. Yes.
100% true. What he said about they have a vision for America and their vision sucks, man. It's
a really dark vision.
Think about the vision they have. They do not think humans are human. They are so inhuman going about this like we are fucking robots or something. And it's, oh my God, a Greek tragedy. I don't know what it is. It's all sorts of tragedies rolled up into an enigma, wrapped into a whatever, and blah blah blah. But it's just
and buried in a turd.
But they're so JV about it. They're so incompetent. I cannot believe
it. That saved us the first Trump administration because they were such bunglers, right? But now they've had 4 years and they've gotten the backing of the Heritage Foundation, and they've got all their ducks in a row. They've got all these incompetent stooges lined up, and already we've seen what that gets you. Well, it wasn't a war plan; it was a battle plan.
Okay, well, you've gone there, Billy, so I'm going to have to follow up with yours.
Hey, and not to mention, I don't know if Robert wrote anything about those legacy law firms bowing down to him and paying him money and working pro bono, and the richest lawyers on earth are afraid to fight the Trump administration now. They're just going to capitulate.
Yeah.
And Bill always said that the Nazis were the Nazis because of the lawyers. And here we are with the lawyers just bowing down. The Nazi
Party was filled with lawyers.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
You said that 2 months ago, and here we are.
Yeah.
And here we are after 2 months. I'm sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I find that interesting, and you're absolutely correct, Billy. Just to close on the measles, the CDC had buried the measles forecast that stressed need for vaccinations to stay in line with RFK Jr. So it wasn't new to them. and it's almost like they're okay with people getting sick. West Texas alone, 400 cases, 41 people hospitalized, 1 dead child already.
Jesus.
So I did see just before we got on that in Pennsylvania, outside of Bucks County, the Starbucks, somebody had measles. So if you've been in Bucks County today, I hope you were inoculated, and you should.
I hope they ventilate that Starbucks then, because that shit travels through the air.
Oh, they will for sure. I mean, that they even know it. The people working there, I'm sure, are thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
This is Pete Hegseth.
Well, and the new ad campaign has people hanging around. So,
yeah, exactly. Perfect timing. So this is Pete Hegseth. He apparently wears the same outfit wherever he goes because he just looks like a winner.
You just pick it right up
on because it holds all his secret little airplane bottles of fucking gin. That's why. He's got little tiny pockets all inside. He opens that bitch up and.
What am I drinking today?
I'm telling you.
Beefeater.
So,
Beefeaters.
I'm going to go back. Here is his security detail. This is him with his wife. Very proud moment to be walking through there.
His third wife, because they're Christians.
Yeah, number 3.
Well, you can see. Is it 3? Well, you can see she has her cross on, so everything's.
He's like, God, he's
3 wives,
idiot.
seven little blonde hair, blue eyed Aryan babies, man.
He's doing his part, okay?
He's doing his part.
So what I want to point out is that this is yesterday. This is his wife again. She's a Fox News producer, so she's certainly qualified to be in government. Sure. She went to a NATO meeting on the Ukraine and also a classified Pentagon briefing with the defense secretary of England.
Does she have security clearance?
She does not have clearance. Great question, Gene. She doesn't have clearance. She doesn't have a job with them. And this is a major breach of security. Sound familiar?
It's fine when they do it. Like, and does that guy have clearance to look down her blouse by any chance?
What about angry guy on the right? He's in a lot of shots.
She's the third wife, man. She's the enabler. She's the scary one. She's the one that married this damaged mofo frat boy. And who knows what kind of Svengali power she has over him, but she lets him drink and he lets her into meetings that she has no business being in. This is just wonderful, America. You have picked the JV. You've picked the worst JV team in America to suit up against the All-Stars.
Well, and this gets worse because I don't know if you know who this gentleman is.
He's a tough guy. He wrote the book Part 2, Manhood, with Josh Hawley, right?
I wish it was Big Balls. This is Pete Hegseth's brother. He's just been hired to a key position at the Pentagon himself. In the Homeland Security Division. He'll be the liaison to Homeland Security and the senior advisor. His claim to fame, because I'm sure he's got great credentials, he started a right-wing podcast. So, guys, there's hope for us. Pentagon jobs. I hear it. I see it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Those Democrats better hire me for something, damn it.
So, again, the DEI hiring, which I found pretty entertaining. I think somebody quoted they should change DEI to WEI, which is white, entitled, and incompetent. That seems to be what we're hiring.
Oh, for sure. Well, you saw there was a woman who worked with, I think she worked with Homeland Security, maybe in Denver, and she accidentally leaked. There was an ICE raid. And she accidentally had a reporter on the text chain, and I think it was actually an email chain, but she leaked it out, and it had like the date and time and who they were picking up. She's been fired. Well, she's been suspended, but she's going to be fired. They're going to revoke her security clearance. So double standard when the white guy way high up does it and puts lives at risk. It's okay. It's a witch hunt. It's a hoax, and it worked. And just talking in pretzels, trying to fucking cover this up, but when the woman does it, get her out of there.
They don't need to cover it up because they're throwing out so many distractions between the 25% tariff to the fact that if you buy a car that's made in America, which the key is the whole car has to be made in America, you can use it as a tax deduction, which people that know about deductions and need them understand. Maybe you don't, but I do. I just want to put up this gentleman. He's got a word for Hegseth and his DUI hiring or DEI hiring. This guy gets fired, overly qualified. Yet we bring in Hegseth's kid. Shocking to me. But hey, that's how it rolls. I did want to pull up one other person. You might be familiar with her. She has just gotten a new job herself. Here she is. And she's a beaut. Maybe you recognize her. She's a Fox News contributor. Her name is Sara Carter. She is now the director of the Office of National Drug Control Policy.
Whoa.
Now, she seems overly qualified to do drugs and to be part of our administration, I guess. Again, it's just, we hired.
So she's got a RICO Act Ronnie Jackson's ass, right?
Yeah, right.
Probably not.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's just
hypocrisy.
Rampant
It's over the top. I do want to say the last part about the layoffs. They're firing the whole Office of Infectious Disease, HIV, and AIDS policy.
Oh my
I think
God.
we're way past that now.
Yeah, nobody gets that anymore. It's fine.
That's an RFK Jr. thing. So,
dude, this Make America Healthy Again. That's that's working out great.
It is. It's pretty unbelievable. I think that's all I had on the Hegseth because it was really a lot.
It just proves more and more every day that, dude, we're on our own. I mean, this is no different than the way we grew up. We, Gen X, we raised ourselves. We were on our own, and we're just back to it. So I think we're in a unique position where we're kind of used to it.
Yeah, I would
We're
agree.
used to being fed a bunch of bullshit. We're used to just being overlooked, left out, and forgotten, and making our own way. So I don't know. We're kind of built for this. So fucking keep it up. You're going to fuck around and find out what happens when you piss off Gen X. Those of us that didn't fall for this bullshit.
I would say that the one area we were gullible, I feel as though I was
believing
gullible.
the American dream.
Nah, fuck that shit.
I never bought into that.
I definitely was. I mean, I had a little fucking teenager boner for the '84 Olympic hockey team, and I was all about it, and I was very patriotic at that time of my life.
Yeah.
However,
80,
I think the part. Thank you. The gullible part for Gen X is we believed all that bullshit from politicians where they always talked about the balanced scales and nobody's above the law. That is all out the window. No generation behind us
will believe that.
Will believe that. It's not true.
Yeah.
Life is very fucking unfair. That's a fact.
Well, to your point, the Supreme Court was the ultimate. Like, if it went to the Supreme Court, it was going to be ruled properly. You had faith in it.
Thought so. Yeah, thought
Mm-hmm.
so. But not. It's all bullshit. This shit's been rigged our whole lives. And
at least ever since Watergate. I mean, Nixon was forced to resign. He was going to be impeached. They had the votes. He was going down, so he
everybody
chose to
in Congress was a white man. It's easy when it's homogeny and you all are the same color and you can all be. We're all gentlemen here, and we're all.
There was a respect for the rule of law at that point. Like, hey,
they were all white dudes. That's why,
for the most part,
once
but
we
I'm
started
just saying,
integrating. You go ahead.
These people now, it doesn't matter if they're white, brown, yellow, whatever they are. The Republicans don't give a fuck. Trump says the sky is black, and they believe the sky is black. Trump says up is down, down is up. They fall right into line. Yes, sir. They
100%.
goose step right into line. At least at that point, when we were really young, you could see that, hey, this guy fucking broke the law and he's going down. Sure. But now Trump breaks it every fucking day. And the courts are overwhelmed and they just keep up this line of bullshit.
Well, and you had a different politician as well in years back. And I come back to Bud Dwyer. I listened to a little piece on him several months ago. He wasn't even that guilty of what he was accused of.
Yeah, was he guilty at all?
Not really.
I am still. I mean, I love the song. Nice shot. But I mean, however, and oh my God, it's the grossest. It's one of the grossest videos to this day. Everything on the internet I've ever seen, the blood flowing out of that man's face after he offed himself with a 357. Holy shit. But anyway, that being said, is he even guilty? Back to you.
Yeah, I don't think he really was that guilty. In today's times, not at all.
Yeah.
In fact, the money that was given to his campaign, he shared throughout his party. It wasn't even like he ingratiated himself by taking the money all himself. I mean, he shared, and I really don't think that he did anything over the top illegal. but he had such a history of being honest, a lot of integrity, and really, from everything I heard, not a bad person. And I think that's why he went to the extreme he did, because he kind of got thrown under the bus, and
He was going to go to
made
prison for a long time, man. Lose his pension, go to prison. If he killed himself, he keeps the pension for his family. No, I'm not joking. I mean, horrible as it is, but these archaic rules on,
only in government. If you have health, if you have life insurance and kill yourself, you don't get the money.
Well, it's like that scene from The Godfather, right? Maybe the guy, if his plot against the emperor didn't work, maybe, they had a little party for him, and then he took a warm bath, opened up his vein, and his family was taken care of.
That's right. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, not a bad way to go. Not a bad deal. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I mean,
that is very awesome.
I agree with Bill on all he said about the integrity of all, but I still, my caveat is,
I'm not saying that these guys were totally,
dudes,
the integrity wasn't high, but at least there was a floor established. Now there's no fucking floor.
We realize in social science with homogeny, people can get along better and come to agreements a lot better, a lot faster. And then when we start integrating and mixing the fucking whatevers, people start losing their mind, and it becomes a little bit of the Lord of the Flies. And that's just how I've seen it my whole life. I'm old enough now to, so yeah, it's great. They ran Nixon off, but again, look at what Bill Kristol did immediately after they ran Nixon off. They're like, that's never going to happen again. We're going to control our own media bubble, and we're going to make sure we never lose another president to scandal, because we don't do anything but hire scandalous, criminal ass presidents when we're Republicans, but we're going to protect them this time. And that's exactly what they did. So Trump is just a result of all their hard work of hiding how criminal Republican presidents are, and how they run up deficits and make us poorer and take shit away from people who need it the most and give it to the people who need it the least. This is what they do. This is their MO. Trickle down. You've heard it all before, man. And they just, again, people keep getting born. People getting to 18 and into the voting pool. People get gaslit at certain ages. People believe in democracy and now here we are, Gen X in our 50s, going, man, this is just all a grift and a scam, and we need to actually take this shit back. I mean, just for real.
Yeah. Well, and now we're watching young men, the Gen Z young men who are buying into this bullshit. The MAGA bros.
You can get gaslit into anything, dude. I mean, we believe that Rod Stewart drank 10 gallons of semen and Richard Gere had a hamster up his butt. People can be gaslit. Am I lying about that?
No, you are
not.
You
grew up in Pittsburgh. I grew up in Omaha. You heard that shit. Same as I did. Yeah. So you heard that Gene Simmons had a cow tongue sewed to his tongue. I mean, come on, dude. We believed things, but it's easy to gaslight young people, and now they're gaslighting them in a very evil way. Yeah, absolutely, because of the media manipulation and social media and the digital world. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Well, and these guys have started limiting what you're going to see. I think we all saw the 4 soldiers that were lost in Lithuania on the border of Belarus.
Are they dead?
That's gone on for 4 days now, 3 days. We don't know, because they had to backtrack until Trump can get his story right. The U.S. military that is there is extremely engaged with the Lithuanian soldiers. They are acting as one. They've been extremely appreciative. They've used every resource that they can to help find these soldiers that they consider their own. But we get a much different tell out of our own DC area. You're not going to see it. I saw a little bit on the international press, but Trump's put quite a clamp down on it, or Stephen Miller, or fill in the blank. So you're not really seeing that.
Goebbels.
So my point is that they're selecting what the media that you're going to see in this country. It's going to make it even harder for these kids to kind of figure out what's fact and what's fiction. But that's why you got to talk to your neighbor, check your sources, and stay on the pulse of things. I wanted to jump real quick to this. This came out last night. It was an executive order. It's something that's also dear to myself. Unions.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Trump had an executive order with unions to limit unionizing and end any government engagement in collective bargaining with unions. They're worried that unionized workers are hostile for federal programs.
They're very mean.
And they may obstruct their agency's management. So we got to be worried about these unions because they're terrible people, awful, always terrible.
Very nasty, very nasty. They say nasty things. They're very mean.
That's right. And just some numbers here. You're looking at 700,000 people that would be affected by the federal government doing this. To terminate all collective bargaining agreements at this stage, it's not about national security, which is what they're making the claim to be. This is about control and money.
Yeah, exactly. It always is.
And I just wanted to point out, we talked the other day that Florida is trying to find a way to make up for this workforce. We're kind of going backwards. You can see these young guys, they know how to work a shovel. The one guy's on break, but he's lucky because if he was 15 to 17, there are no breaks in Florida.
Yeah, well, there's a guy with a bullwhip standing right behind him, right out of the frame.
Yeah, you can't
letting him know break time is almost over, kid. You've had your 5 minutes.
And we've seen this before. So I just wanted to point out some of the things that unions were able to do for our workers. Got you the 8-hour workday, 2-day weekend, which was unheard of at the time. Mm-hmm. They promoted equality, safer workplace, which is pretty huge, overtime pay, minimum wage seems kind of important, child labor laws, which we're now taking off the books. This has been on the books for quite a while. Paid vacation and holiday, as well as sick leave. All those things seem really positive to the workforce. I don't understand why now the unions are the devil.
Dude, unions built this country, and people forget, or maybe they don't know, but people died for the right to unionize. There were massacres, there were battles. I mean, this wasn't like, peaceful protest. There had to be force involved. People gave their lives for this. And
when you saw, not to interrupt you, Billy, but you have some background on this in Pittsburgh, where the union busters came out, and it was a lot of bloodshed for the steel workers.
Yeah, with the miners in West Virginia. I mean, there was a struggle to get this done, and to just give that away to these people, it's awful. And unions built the middle class. I mean, we grew up in a middle class neighborhood in a suburb, good schools, safe, all that shit. And the people across the street from us, they had 3 boys, right? The mom was a nurse, the dad was a foreman in a steel mill. They lived in the same neighborhood. It was, you had good union jobs with good benefits.
Yeah.
That's what built the middle class, and they want to hollow it out now and take it away. And again, like we're always saying, this is not about left and right. This is a class struggle. This is about haves and have-nots, and the haves want to take even more from the have-nots, and that's most of us. So, don't get it twisted. Don't kid yourself, unless you're not in their club.
So this was the National Labor Relations Act. It was a very big part of the New Deal as far as labor legislation. The Wagner Act, it recognized the right of employees to join labor unions and gave workers the right to collective bargaining. Whoa, what's that happening now? No. You could negotiate with unions about hours, wages, and other working conditions. Now, apparently that's off the table. Again, I don't see why it's a national security thing to have, unions able to adjust their wages, their hours, or working conditions. It just seems like, again, another distraction and another way to be cruel, frankly.
And cruelty is the point. We always say that. And the fact that, some of the unions actually backed Trump, like, what were you guys thinking? How did you think this was going to work out? We had a president, maybe you didn't like him, but he came out and stood on the picket line with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you went with this guy. It's like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen?
Well, they fucked around and they're finding out is really what's happening.
Yeah. And sadly, now we're all in the find out boat.
Yeah. You're right about that.
I remember one time in Atlanta, we had a guy that handled team travel, right? So he was in charge of, like, one of the big things was having a moving company. So when the team charter landed, all of our gear had to be unloaded, taken to the stadium. And this guy was from the South. So the team was playing in Pittsburgh. He tried to hire a company that was not a union company. And somebody smarter than him that had been around was like, yeah, no, that is not going to fly in Pittsburgh. Don't even try that. Our stuff is not going to get there. It's not going to work. So find a union company.
Wow.
Unions had power. There's, the collective bargaining. There's power in being united, union.
Yeah.
And they want to take that away from us. And we have to stand together. We have to realize, again, this is a class struggle.
My niece just switched professions in DC. I think she's doing legal aid now. And her job, she just joined the union, and she's part of the UAW, even though she's doing legal aid. We looked it up. My mom looked it up last night. The UAW does a bunch of nonprofits too. So unions are important and powerful. And, this is a job that doesn't take any government money. So she's okay. Another good reason to have unions around. But yeah, man, I was in a union. It wasn't always perfect, but I would have rather been in it because I was in the era of where there was no free agency when I got drafted.
Yep.
And then we went to this weird Plan B free agency, and just Google that shit because it's confusing, where they would put so many people up like slaves, like 10 people a year on the team, and everybody else was still protected from the team. And then we went to this regular free agency. And again, all this free agency stuff and all this, it's unions are people. Unions are players. People like Kurt Flood sacrificed his entire career, isn't in the Hall of Fame for baseball because he's like, we're not property. We should be able to play where we want. There should be some, contract where we can get out of this and not be your property for life. So we owe a lot to people like Kurt Flood, and
for sure.
I know his son Kurt Flood Jr. is still trying to get him into the Hall of Fame,
Rightfully
and
so.
it's a difficult, there's always politics involved. But go ahead, Bill.
Well, I'm just going to say, and that union is extremely powerful. The baseball union, baseball players union, dude, it makes the NFLPA look weak and ineffectual. I mean, those guys even threaten a strike. I mean, they've got guaranteed contracts.
There he is.
Right.
So yeah,
freedom
absolutely.
of movement, and they've had it since, I think, free agency since what, 76? And the NFL finally got it in 94.
All I know is when those two Indians players got killed in that boating accident, which was, I mean, let's be real, their fault. Their union was strong enough where the Major League Baseball wasn't going to abandon their families and stop paying them zero, like the NFL would say. Well, you're not working anymore, zero checks.
You're not playing.
That's power.
Yeah.
So that's power. That's real power. The NFL, obviously, their union isn't as strong because we have more. You'd think the union would be stronger because we have more members, but because you have to pay all these high salaries to all these players, it's actually weaker. It's actually, in professional sports, the smaller number of players you have, like basketball union, baseball union. It's there's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of money in that. That's why baseball players can make 35 million a year. Like, it's nothing.
Crazy.
Guaranteed. Also, yes, correct.
Well, I think part of the problem too is with, like, the NFL is so young. These guys and they want the money now. They don't want to hear about, hey, we got to stick together and make things better for everybody. And I get it. Careers are short, right? You can play 20 years in baseball. You can hang on and play 20 years, no problem, and get paid every year. But so I understand it. These guys are young. The careers are very short. They got to make their money now. But at some point, I mean, it's amazing they've gotten as far as they have, honestly, because it's not a great union. And dude, I remember when Dave Richards got his Reggie White check.
Yeah. Explain to the people what the Reggie White lawsuit was about.
Well, Reggie White was the guy, an all-pro Hall of Famer, played for the Eagles and Packers, and he took it to court. He went to court for free agency.
Free agency, correct, yeah.
Long story short, he won. And so there was a group of guys that were also involved in that lawsuit who were under that, who got paid. They got big checks.
Millions of dollars. Absolutely.
Dave Richards was a happy dude that day.
I think he finished in Carolina as well.
And you didn't see Dave that happy all the time.
Well, when somebody with cerebral palsy is sitting in the end zone when we're warming up and he yells at Dave Richards, "You look like 10 pounds of shit stuffed into a 5-pound sack." It's not going to make you have the feel goods. And oh, by the way, it was said to me quite often too. New Orleans fans are wild, man. You would literally see a dude, and I'm not going to shake like Trump, but you'd see a dude shaking like Trump with cerebral palsy, literally trolling the old line when we're warming up in the end zone, not giving two fucks, drinking a fucking hurricane. having a good time. New Orleans is a different planet. I think aliens live there, man. That is the weirdest place on earth.
Dude,
I
those
swear to
games were
God.
fun though. That rivalry was for real. And the thing I loved about New Orleans was the dude that ran like the mini cams, the fan cams, always found the best looking women in the skimpiest outfits to put up on the jumbo board. I
And
mean,
that was a big ass stadium. I mean, that's a
mhm.
huge place, man. I was still overwhelmed every time I played because I played there twice in college too. We had to play Tulane in that giant ass dome, and I was just like, man, this place is big.
Yeah.
Enormous.
So
Yeah, I
it's
remember
an
my
enormous
first trip
place.
there, seeing it, like, because you'd see it on TV, but it had to be, I was like, wow, this is way
It's
bigger
way bigger
than
than
the,
you think it is. Yeah, it's way bigger than your normal dome.
when
It was fun. Go ahead.
they had that weird visitors locker room too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that split locker room where I got in a fight with Bob Whitfield the one time in the middle of prayers because I got in a little tiff with Art Shell. I was trying to ask him something, and he was busy talking to one of the rookies, and I got frustrated with him. I'm like, man, never mind. And Art started yelling at me, and I'm like, man, look at has been. I got no time for this. I'm like, I'm out there busting my ass trying. Me and Art went at it for like 30, 45 seconds, and then, and then after the game. Bob Whitfield with his one good eye comes up to me and is like, "You need to apologize." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You need to apologize to coach." I'm like, "I ain't apologizing for shit. Suck my dick." And I was like, "You want to fight, motherfucker?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." And dude, right in the middle of that, Reeves is having everybody get down and kneel for the prayer. And by the
Grab
way,
hands.
we won that game. And like you said, it was a split locker room, so the old line was over here, and me and Whit were gonna get into it, but I was like, "Go ahead, swing, Whit." If you can see me, I was laughing so fucking hard. And Ronnie Medlin, the trainer, comes running and like, "Shh, they're in the middle of prayer." I'm like, "Fuck you, Whit, I'll never apologize. I'll never apologize." And then 5 minutes after that, Art Shell going making his rounds like, "How's your body? You okay? You healthy?" Like nothing happened because Art and I didn't care, but Whit wanted me to show some respect to the Hall of Famer, which I get,
Sure.
which I totally understand. But I'm not going to show any respect to Whit. So it's like, come on, man, you ain't telling me to apologize to anybody. Get the hell out of here, dude. I don't do that. I just don't do that. So, there's so many funny stories, little micro stories
Oh,
inside a football game. I mean, we won that football game, and me and Whitfield are almost in a full fist fight over some disrespect to a coach I gave to Art Shell for 30 seconds. You can't make that shit up. It was fun. It was intense. And that proves to you, for us, it was about winning. It wasn't about money because we wanted to
mhm.
win. Who gives a shit if you get in a fight with your coach if it's just about money? We wanted to win. And I think that was really about winning. That might have been the last generation, like where it was equally about, I want to get paid, but I also want to win. I want to look
Sure.
good. I don't want to make a fool of myself. So
Oh
I
yeah,
get it. It was fun, and it's all good. Whit became a reality television star with his ex-wife and everything, and
Big
I'm
Bob.
s- I'm sitting here doing a podcast. So Whit wins, I guess. I don't know. It was all fun though. We have lots of those stories. You guys know that. You were in the locker
Oh
room.
man, yeah. I mean, we could write a book. We're not naming names, but that stuff happened all the time. People have no
Well, I
idea.
mean, if there's a Great Depression 2.0, we might have to write that book just to feed our families.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Hey,
You got a
Rob, are you
point
stocking up on all the 100-year food and stuff? Because I'm coming to your house.
there. My
You have the
powdered eggs and milk.
space. I live in a townhouse, man. Cole won't care. I'll share a bedroom with Cole. We'll get bunk beds. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Come on down. Not a problem.
So, and then I'll go to Bill's house to bathe because he has a bidet where I can wash some booty.
I do.
Sounds
It's a
perfect.
necessity.
I think that's a
Bougie.
win-win for all of us.
Bougie.
Bougie.
Bougie
So I
bidet.
wanted to, since you're talking about peace and all, this is the United States Institute for Peace. Seems like it would be a really good thing to have. It's something that was created by Congress in 1984. It was under Reagan, independent. And here's the key here, not for profit. This is where we're getting into the woods a little bit with this administration. Everything has to be about profit. Medicine's got to be for profit. USPS has to be for profit. Now the U.S. Institute of Peace needs to be for profit. The staff on Friday received notices that they were all being terminated.
Jesus.
300 employees. It's a $55 million budget. Gone. Their mission was to promote conflict resolution and to prevent conflict across the globe. Once again, we're huddling in our own little country and we're not seeing the big picture. This is happening the same day that they're still trying to shutter USAID, which I brought up earlier, would be sending aid to Myanmar, but their problem. Am I right? What are we worried about?
What can they do for us? They've been ripping us off for years. They think we're suckers.
Oh, suckers. There you go. Everybody's trying to rip us off. They're hateful, terrible people, which we know isn't true. I better put this guy up because he's the one causing all this havoc. For the most part, he's not acting alone, that's for sure.
Useful idiot.
But he is a bit of a useful idiot, as you say.
Mm-hmm. Dude, he's back on the Ukraine negotiations, right? He wants Ukraine to sign over half of their resources for.
It's a little bit more than half now. They started
for nothing.
With half.
Like
we want it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I put up this guy doing what he does best because he spent
cheating at golf or playing golf.
Playing golf
what he
very
does best
poorly.
is cheat at golf.
Well,
remember, he just won the club championship, probably his last one.
He wins it every year.
He's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Dude, he cheated a 10-year-old kid one time. A guy wrote a whole book about how he cheats at golf.
Oh yeah, my brother has that book.
Mm-hmm.
And his shirt's a little dated. He's wearing the 45 on his shoulder. President Donald Trump, in case you didn't know who he was, now he can look in the mirror and see it on his shirt. I just wanted to point out that he spent 38% of his presidency at his resort golfing.
Unbelievable.
Almost 40% of the time he's there. It's cost us $85 million so far for him to golf as much as he wants.
Yeah, that's the three of us and everybody else.
And for,
paying for that.
And for the record, that's 9 out of 10 weekends that he's been golfing. So if Doge is looking for cutting some fat, no pun intended, a lot of
fat there.
Let's look into something that might actually be helpful that we could trim.
What happened? Are you listening, Big Balls?
What happened the 10th week when he did?
I think he was a shut-in that weekend, probably because
too much red meat, shitting on his golden toilet.
Yeah,
maybe
that gout was acting up again.
Filling up those diapers a little bit too fast.
hey, Donald, bleach and light and ivermectin, man, go for it. Fixes everything.
Have at it.
So whatever.
All right, and I only have
that aquarium cleaner.
I only have one other thing that I wanted to show. I don't know if you've ever been to the Smithsonian.
Dude, the Smithsonian is awesome.
They have several different museums. It's 175 years that they've been independent. And this is another one. They have 21 museums and a natural zoo. I have not been there, but
it's incredible.
It seems amazing from everything I've seen. They're going to take it over now, Trumpy, because he doesn't want any of these exhibits that might divide Americans by race. In particular, it's the Natural Museum of African History that kind of set him off. Keep in mind that the green light to have that exhibit for African American history and culture started under W. Bush. This is not a Democrat thing. Again, we try to turn everything into that. I think what pushed him over the edge was the next one coming up was a women's history museum. And they were extremely concerned that they would turn that into men pretending to be women. So we got to cut it and we got to get rid of it because it could happen. Okay.
The shit that they are concerned with. And I don't know whose idea that was, because I think between the three of us and everybody else listening, we all know Trump has not set foot in a museum. Probably didn't even know that place even existed.
My niece's roommate in DC works for the Smithsonian, and she's one of 20 female African Americans that does what she does. And I'm not gonna tell you what she does in the entire world, by the way. She's one of 20 people, 20 female, or it might be, I think it's 20 female African Americans that does what she does in the world. And she's absolutely terrified, obviously, because they will, and she has nothing to do, by the way, with African American or women's museum, or this is has something to do with preservation of stuff, and she's terrified because she's just a black woman, and in this world, in the Trump world, if you're a black woman, you got the job because you're a black woman, not because you're,
DEI
special.
Oh, yeah, but they'll bring in the
DEI.
most incompetent white males.
or females.
Well, we know that, but we're gonna
Mhm.
need a whole bunch of
Incompetent
fucking
and
white.
compliant.
We're gonna need a whole bunch of white Americans to acknowledge that and rectify that and quit fucking around, because otherwise it's literally going to be Whoopi Goldberg in The Color Purple yelling at Danny Glover, and Whoopi Goldberg is all black people yelling at Danny Glover, which is white America going, until you do right by us, you will never have anything. Everything you have will fail until you do right. And we know this now. We've experienced this long enough. We know we have power. We have economic power. We're 13% of the population. You're erasing us slowly. We're not stupid. We see it. We've educated ourselves. Uh, and until you do right by us, America, all of you, until you acknowledge this nonsense that they are hiring the worst of the worst, the most
Mhm.
unqualified, the JV team for no other reason that they're white dudes with dicks, apparently.
Borderline
Um,
freshman, but go ahead.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, they're the JV backups.
it's until you acknowledge that, we're just going to sink into a further and further hole, because Black America's not going to be the tip of this spear and bail your asses out. They're going to need to see you be progressive, realize we're all created equal. Color is just a character trait.
Characteristic.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
not a race. We're in the human race.
Yeah.
If you can't figure that shit out, then you're uneducated, you're stupid, and I think just, black people will let this fucking country sink into the shithole country it could literally become, which is South Africa, where Elon Musk came from.
We're
You guys
well
don't
on our
even
way.
understand.
He kind
And,
of likes that.
and their idea of America, they have an idea for America, and Ezra Klein is 100% right. Their idea of America completely sucks. You are going to hate
For
it
us.
because you grew up in America, and
Mhm.
it's not supposed to be like that. So
Dude,
welcome to Elon's and Peter Thiel's world. It's going to suck for all of us that
yeah.
aren't the
Dude, this
chosen
is
ones.
yeah, this is dark MAGA. This Trump is the tip of the spear. They had this plan. They had 4 years to come up with this, and
Oh
they
yeah.
put it out there. We all knew it. The information was out there. And if you
2025.
voted for this,
And Trump is adult. They know
Trump
it.
is
They know they
adult.
can
He's a
do all
useful
this.
idiot.
Yeah, he's a useful idiot to them. He's a useful idiot to Russia. He's
To
a
Putin,
useful idiot
yeah.
to China. He's just the biggest useful idiot trying to stay out of jail and trying to empower his family to get to that elite class that he always wanted to be a part of, that New York billionaire class that never accepted him. This guy is
New York
literally
hates
holding
him.
he's holding grudges from
They
Columbia
love him.
University from 40 years ago for not buying property in the 80s from him, and punishing them. Their president just resigned after capitulating to him, by the way, and
Yeah.
letting the police in to beat protesters and all this nonsense. Uh,
Shame on
Trump
you,
is winning
Columbia.
without even trying, because Americans are weak. They're soft. They've been pampered for far too long. And then they started bitching about egg prices, but what they were really bitching about is being replaced by, I guess, the other. And it turns out nobody's banging fast enough. And we need bodies, and we're
So now
going.
we need kids to get in there. Get in
Understand
those
the edu
meatpacking plants.
My mom also reminded me today, educated children that are getting married or hooking up are not having children of their own. And
Because
that
they can't
includes
afford
my
to.
own that includes my own child, who's a
Sure.
PA and married to someone who has a very good job and they have a very nice life. They have no intention of having children when you guys keep electing Trumps into office. Why would they
Mhm.
waste their time
Why would you want to
putting
bring a
a
kid into
kid
this kind
into
of
this
environment?
stuff?
Yeah.
It's a terrible idea of America. It's a horrible idea. Nothing. I never thought in a million years we'd turn into some dystopian bullshit country,
Yeah.
1984 and us, and I don't know. It's just it's ridiculous. But here we are,
Here
and
we are.
Black Twitter says, White America, wake up, do
I
something
think they
about it,
said, "Wake the fuck up." All right.
Yeah. Because
please,
time is running
please."
out.
Just to
Very
close
good.
on the Smithsonian, it is the largest museum of education and research center. So this isn't like we just show off some items. To your point about your daughter's friend, there's a
Hmm.
lot that goes into that. again, research becomes historic, which becomes knowledge, and you take that moving forward. We seem to be going away from that. Though Tennessee, the Senate, state Senate did pass a law where you have to teach in school about marriage and having kids, because they feel like it's very important to get married before you have children. And they reeled off a bunch of statistics, but what they did discount quite a bit was single moms, single parent families, that these kids can turn out okay as well. It's not about getting married young, having
we turned
kids
out okay,
and being in an unhappy marriage.
Wait, on whose scale, Rosen? You turned out okay based on what?
we were single parent kids.
You didn't ask me. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, my
you
wife
spent a
as
year
well.
throwing a ball against the wall with 2 weird stepbrothers and some guy.
I was a stepbrother and a stepsister, and he was an Air Force. He was a military guy at Office Air Force Base, and that's how I got my hand-eye coordination, bitch.
Took you a long way.
That's a separate podcast. Now you're gonna trigger Mom Miller. Damn it, man! Now I gotta
Don't
tell
do
her that
that.
I told you that stuff.
I'm not messing with Lois.
She gotta kick your ass.
I'm just saying,
That's
the
true.
three of
We've
us
all
turned
been
out
there.
all right.
Dude, I even said to my mom today, without dysfunction in your life, there would be no creativity. There would be no great ideas. I was like, science fiction happened before science. Talking about going into space was written about or shown on, in films before it was actually done. All sorts of dysfunction is good for us, for music, for science, for creativity, for arts, for math, for thinking outside. Did Einstein look normal to you guys? I mean, holy shit, look at that hair. I'm just saying, there was some dysfunctional shit going on there, because that dude wouldn't even comb his hair or clean his office. He was a genius all the same. So sometimes dysfunction is good, but yeah, single parents can do it just as well. It's a little harder. There's no doubt it's a little tougher. Ask my wife; she will tell you it's not the easiest thing, but it also makes for a very independent kid too.
That's true.
So there's advantages, there's disadvantages, certainly.
Well, and you just can't typecast everybody. Sometimes you have, there's reasons why you're by yourself. It's not just necessarily that you chose to have a kid by yourself, or you chose to have your husband or wife pass, or fill in the blank, or they're an alcoholic that you find out over time. You don't stay in abusive relationships. Like, what's the end game here, and why are we dealing with such a distraction?
Seriously,
the kids today are a little bit more advanced on the birds and the bees than what we started. Reading through literature that had no pictures as kids.
Those books you found in your parents' drawer.
Exactly, and we'll leave it at that. But I'm just saying, we totally discount human nature, which is people can take a situation like that as a single parent and run with it and do an amazing job. So I find it somewhat offensive that we're going to take time in school to teach kids about marriage and baby making. But we can't have sex ed. Okay. Baby making's not sex ed. Okay. If the stork comes, it's all right. But if we're going to talk about legit stuff to keep yourself from getting an STD, maybe we should save that for college.
Yeah. Or just don't teach it at all. But, should those 15-year-old, 2 15-year-olds fool around and become parents, well, then you're on your own. No, you can't get an abortion.
Well, have the baby first, then you're on your own.
Yeah. And then the baby can go fuck himself too, because we're not taking care of your stupid kid.
Yes,
you're
Gina.
definitely explaining why normal people get into local politics, because idiots will jump in and fill the void and do stuff like this. So what do you have to lose if you're in your 20s or 30s?
Come out.
Get on the school board.
Hop into it now.
Get on your local council.
Yeah, slowly but surely work yourself into a position of power so you can pass laws that actually are meaningful.
Makes sense.
Progressive.
This one's just stupid, and it's really misogynistic and belittling to women that they just need to get pregnant and make babies for men, and that's how they're going to present this in Tennessee schools. But
well, Gene, you made the blueprint here. Come out, Youth of America, get involved, and give stuff to people that need it. That's a ticket to winning, frankly. Because these guys aren't giving anybody anything.
Idiots will always fill a void. Or, I mean, why do you think pedophiles become priests? or work at become clowns at kids shows, or what
Ugh,
they
God, I hate clowns.
it's all about access, man. The only way you're going to get the access is to jump in. And I'm not relating pedophilia to politics, but I am, because they're both disgusting. I know they
And
can
they're
both be
generally
vile.
Republicans,
And
oddly
they're
enough.
dude, we can get into all the stats on who all the pedos are. That being said, it's all about access. That's why creepy people will fill the void and jump in to and do, just, the creepy. How many stories have you heard about the night nurse at the nursing home doing terrible things, either sexually or violently to, some person laying in bed that can't help themselves, that they're 90 years old? People will fill the void. So in
Yep.
politics, young people need to jump in and fill the void right away, and realize, also understand, you're probably going to lose at first, because they're going to look at you like you're too young. Stick with it, man. I mean, you
Yeah.
see that Justin Pearson is in Tennessee politics. Those two black kids, they're not kids anymore, they're men now. But I'm saying they got in young, and they will be around probably for decades, and probably hop into national politics.
Knock on wood.
You have to jump in early. And I
Yeah.
didn't know that when I was younger. And it's good advice for anybody that doesn't want a shitty school board, or a shitty whatever, or a shitty
Yeah.
sheriff. Just
Oh
saying.
God, yeah.
Absolutely right. And they are kind of leading us down this path. We talk about, it's discouraging to single parents and stuff. The future for our kids coming up is that you have 6.1 million Americans behind on their mortgage. FHA, Federal Housing Authority, delinquency has hit 11%. It's the highest in years, because we're not giving people a living wage. We're not taking care of people, but we say, hey, live the American dream, buy a house, have kids. It's not super affordable. The stock market in 3 weeks has lost $5 trillion. And I'm not saying everybody's in individual stocks, but if you're through your job, you're in some kind of fund, this affects all of us. And yes, we talked
your
about
401k is tanking.
Yeah, the billionaires, they'll buy on the dip. That's great for them. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about
Some
us.
might say this is manipulated, but what do I know?
You might, because Trump seems to be oblivious to it, which is really kind of crazy to me. But
yeah,
it's real money. It takes away from real programs that help real people. I don't consider
they don't care about real people. This is the billionaire class, the oligarch class, and they want to take us back to the Gilded Age, and they are doing it.
Well, and they're through the media all the time. I mean, Alon's been on Hannity several times, and he's just spewing so much hate and misinformation, to be perfectly frank. He's calling out people going after his Tesla dealerships.
Dude, you called Mark Kelly a traitor.
I was going to say, he called Mark Kelly a traitor. A fighter pilot / Esther. This South African little pissant, man.
Yeah,
doing it for you, Gene.
Dude, go up to Mark Kelly's little midget face, sorry, midgets, and say it to his face, Elon. He will slap the shit out of you, boy.
Yeah, he will put you down.
You guys have such big freaking balls. You talk so big. Looking into a camera. Go up to the dude and say it to his face. I did the ice cream experiment at the largest truck stop. I crossed my leg. I licked that ice cream like I was my wife. And nobody came up to me. Nobody said shit to me. You guys are full of shit. Shit or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And let's not forget, Elon's security is rolling 100 deep now.
Wow.
That guy
I don't care.
Everybody
Go
and
up to Mark
everything.
Kelly and say it to him. Tough guy. Elon would not even fight Mark Zuckerberg, which tells you all you need to know about how tough Elon is.
That would have been a slap fight for the ages.
God, dude. Mark Zuckerberg would have just started pulling out his hair plugs. I mean, jeez, Louise, man, this goofy. Just look at Elon Musk in the 90s. Look at that dude. That's the same guy. Just because he got all the makeup and the plugs and as Bill Burr said, shellacked his face. Yeah, dude.
And the
He's
vitamin
that
K.
same goofy ass nerd. He has no idea. He did not grow up like us. He got the shit beat out of him by white South African boys who hated his ass and made his best friend break up with him. This guy is so damaged. He needs therapy. And all of his money in the world couldn't even get him straight. He's gone. So this is why he comes on and talks stuff and says all this ridiculous stuff and then hires 100 bodyguards. What a wuss, man. You're a wimp, man. What a wimpy ass.
Yeah. 2004.
We're gonna get 1984'd by a bunch of friggin' nerds. by a bunch of loser-ass nerds. And he's not even good at writing code. He's no good at playing video games. He uses a fucking turkey baster to get women pregnant. This guy is a, oh my God, I love that picture. This guy is a loser, man. That's who he is, man. And I remember that, dude, I know that picture, by the way. That's him bragging about buying his very rare Lamborghini or Bugatti or some shit, some car he spent a couple $1 million on when he first made his money, and then he just trashed the thing. And he was like blogging about trashing the thing and tires falling off it. I remember that interview because he was trying to promote himself. This guy's always been a self-promoter. He just made a bunch of money selling, I don't know, PayPal or some company, and literally called up CNN himself to talk about his new car and do that morning show stuff. And that's what he looked like. This guy thinks he's, God's gift. Give me
He's
a
a
break
beta.
here.
PayPal didn't work when he and Peter Thiel ran it. It had huge security issues. It
Yeah,
wasn't
for sure.
fixed till
Well,
everything this guy
because
touched was
Elon was
fucking
writing the
bad.
code at first, and he doesn't know how to
Yeah.
write code. I mean, it's just simple. These are facts. He was writing the code. He can't write code.
He's
He
a
cannot
grifter.
play video games.
He's not an
He's a
engineer.
self-promoter. He's a grifter. I'm surprised he didn't change his name like Trump did when he was calling the media in New York.
Yeah,
This
John
is John
Barron.
Barron. I want to talk about Donald Trump. So give me a break, dude. Come on, man.
Dude,
I
these
can't believe these
people must be so
grifters.
unhappy.
So please, God, don't let us have a world run by these super nerds from South
And I
Africa.
think people are waking up.
They've got a dark vision for it, that's for sure.
I think you see the town halls between people not showing up, meaning the politicians themselves, and then the people showing up and being extremely upset.
And getting arrested for being upset.
Correct. That started today. I did see some people getting arrested for voicing their opinion. Free speech is only okay if you're a billionaire, I guess. But we're going to find out because people seem willing to go to jail to speak their mind, which is,
don't give in to this bullshit.
It's time. I hate to do this to you guys, but we're jumping to the happy ending.
Ooh, the happy ending. All right.
I used one of my happy endings, which was the fact that U.S. travels down 70% every month until the end of September as far as bookings compared to last year. Because
who would have ever thought Rob's happy ending would be like, fuck America? I'm just kidding, dude. I would have never dropped that myself, but that would be my happy ending as well. Because screw these people, dude. You can't treat people like this.
No,
it's ridiculous.
And people need to realize it that live here, how we're treating outsiders. When you have the vice president goes to Greenland and not one person in that community wants to meet his wife.
Knock, 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 knock. Hey, can we do a photo op? No.
Then he comes in. He stays only at the base with fellow U.S. Service members and is complaining because nobody said how cold it was there. That doesn't show his brilliance to me.
Not the best and the brightest.
Look where it's located. Look at the time of year. Maybe ask your phone, hey, what's the temperature there? I think you'd get some kind of results. That wasn't the only happy ending for myself. I did see that Tom Cotton, who I really disapprove of as a member of Congress.
Ichabod Crane, that bobble-headed jerk-off.
Terrible person. But today he did call for the resignation of Hegseth. This also came with the plurality of GOP members because it's just too much.
He needs to go. Dude, you've got a Russian email and a Russian phone number.
Exactly.
Crazy.
And I understand that they're trying to flood the airways with all kinds of crazy information.
It's not going to work.
They get to the seniors because they've crashed Social Security's website. It doesn't even have a message saying why. There's no reason why it's down.
No, they're going to rewrite the whole code. They're going to have it all fixed and set up.
So now I've sectioned off the seniors. They're not going to be bothering me about this signal gate. And as they continue to do that, it goes away. People tend to forget. We just keep piling on and they're not too worried about it. But what he did was egregious. All these people should be held responsible for it like any other administration would. And that's not happening.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a veteran, if you're a military family, this is serious. I mean, they put these people at risk. And it's already a dangerous enough job what they do. And you literally put them at risk. Lives could have been lost. So, yeah, there have to be consequences.
He's got to go, man. Don't bring in your wife either. And to your point where you're like, hey, bro, how much do you bench? when he brings his old lady around, he's totally, giving everybody the, hey, look at this over here. Her blouse
He's
is
flexing. This is my
tight and
third one too. Third one.
Number 3.
Looks just like number 1 and number 2. Third one.
Yeah.
Don't bring him to work. Bring your
I can't
wife
tell the
to work
difference. I was drunk when I married him.
This one got the modern breast though. I mean, the techniques today are incredible compared to my first wife. Anyway, who's next? Me?
Go ahead, Gene.
Real quick, had a good family gathering with friends and people last night, and I learned something. Someone in the car industry was over yesterday. That's been in the car industry for a couple decades, and we were talking about tariffs and how they're coming. Apparently, Trump sent out memos to all the car dealerships ordering them not to raise prices on cars, which every one of them is going to raise prices on cars, and they're laughing at. They're like, yeah, give me a break. So anything that's not on the ground by April 2nd is going to get tariffed, apparently. But here, I told you all that to tell you this. I use the term slapdick in the middle of whatever. And the car dealer, the car salesman, the chick, she started laughing. She's like, "Oh, we use that term all the time." I'm like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "That term originated in football. It's strictly a football term." She's like, "Oh, no, no, no. We use slapdick all the time in the car industry. We use slapdick and weak dick." And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, I don't know. It's the same as slapdick. They're interchangeable in the car business, apparently. And I'm like, no. I'm like, football invented slapdick. She's like, dude, you know how many former football players sell cars? I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
So all the former football players and shit from college that sell cars now brought slapdick into the car industry. So the car industry, as well as the football industry, uses the term slapdick, but they also interchange it with the word weak dick. And I just, I learned something. I didn't know, not that one. But anyway, they're selling cars like crazy, like right now, because everyone is like buying out. They're basically every car on the lot is spoken for that doesn't have a tariff on it yet, and then they're just in a we'll see. We'll wait and see what happens.
Well,
basically.
and that's always scheduled to change. I mean, this guy, that's why the markets are so hesitant, because they don't know what he's going to do next. He did put up a website, we're stripping the EPA of all these protections, and we're going to let the coal plants go nuts and fill our skies with mercury again, because it worked once before. Why not go back? But my point being that he set up a website for these companies that are polluters to reach out to him and see if they can get an exemption.
I saw that.
That to me sounds like this.
Yeah, what's the exemption going to cost? Just $5 million, and you're exempt.
Worth it. I'll just pass it on to the sucker that's buying my energy.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Trump is a weak dick.
He's a slappy.
He's a slap dick and a weak dick.
And a broke
anyway,
dick,
that was my only happy ending.
That was awesome.
Knowing that the industry, the slap dick has carried on into the car industry.
Well, the correlation to dealerships owned by ex-NFL players is very strong. So
Clay Matthews.
Makes sense.
Bill, you're next.
Well, you know what? That gives me my happy ending. That I'm happy to hear that slapdick has carried over to the car industry, and I'd like to think I brought it over into the advertising industry.
Nice.
These fucking clients are a bunch of slapdicks.
Yeah, I love it.
So
that's fair.
There you go. All right.
All right. Well, we're going to beef that up next week, Billy. I'm going to need some happier endings than that. Okay.
I don't know if I can get much happier, but I will try. I will work on it.
Where is Bill's lithium?
All right. Well,
let me know. Where is it? Where's my ketamine?
I'm glad you stayed dry. Bill,
I'm good.
There you go. Back to the straw. Jesse Waters would not approve of that, but
Jesse Waters is a fucking slap dick. He's actually a weak dick. You know what? Because a real man drinks from a straw. He crosses his legs
all the time.
Fucking kick Jesse Waters' ass and beat him into the dirt
all the time.
Well, that's a happy thought. So I'm going to leave you guys on that.
Thought. I like that.
You know, safe travels tomorrow. We'll be back Tuesday if possible.
How do you know I'm traveling tomorrow? I didn't tell you when I'm leaving.
Didn't you?
When did I say that?
Earlier for my drive back tomorrow.
Well, cancel that. I have no plans.
Okay, right. No plans.
No plan. No, I'm wide open. So my wife's like texted me this morning, like, need a few more days in the O. I mean, I don't know, man. I just it's a feel thing for me when I go back.
Okay.
I'm enjoying doing all the walking and hanging out with my family.
No,
And
that's good for you.
crazily, I spend a lot less money. I don't spend any money on Amazon when I travel. And
Good.
I've been really good. I've boycotted Amazon since that boycott started. I have not bought shit. No,
Nice.
I lied. I bought cat food last Tuesday because I was going out of town. I had no choice.
It's okay. The
Must
cat's
need
got to
cat
eat.
food.
You do it for the
But anyway, I don't know where I'll be doing this podcast from. I may be on the road on Tuesday, or we'll
Parts on
figure
the
it all
road.
out. I'll let you
Love it.
guys know.
We'll take you wherever you're at.
Well, I'll be in touch.
I'm enjoying my Omaha trip now, and now I'm going to make my world famous viral pot roast, which is not mine. You guys know, I didn't I send that to you, where you just salt and pepper it and then sear it up and then put it in the oven for a couple hours, and then shred it up and then put it in tacos or bread or just your mouth, or
I'm
mashed
waiting for the perfect
potatoes,
end.
or
That's really my thing.
so. Oh, those are easy too. All right, man. Well, anyway, you guys have a good trip. I'm cold as balls out here because it dropped 40 degrees in one day.
All right, we'll get inside and warm up. Give our best to Jason.
I'm gonna warm up with some whiskey from Minnesota because my son brought some over. All right,
All right, fellas. Talk to you later.
All right.